I mean, it's glowing a little bit. The new blade is quite impressive, came out pretty well. It's still the same as the sold at. I feel mana radiating from it now, got a significantly keener edge than before. Once you process that stuff, a hung crystal like that must be a real pain to work with. And you could do it to you, not for you guys to help. Once we go far, is a real testament to our combined efforts. Not sure our contributions can even compare to what you've done. I'm grateful for it. Have you on our side. We'll do is take it into the real fight and see how it feels.
Oh, you're all still here.
Toa?
What's wrong? It's not like you to be so flustered. It's terrible. We got an emergency report in from the Twin Dragons Bridge. It's Keldic.
Keldic?
What happened to Keldic?
It was set on fire.
What? Arson?
By the Kreuzing Provincial Army.
What?
What?
Well, that doesn't seem too great. They set a course for Keldic and hurried there as fast as their legs could carry them. Once they arrived, a number of them disembarked to assess the situation. Sarah and Hughes included. Oh, okay. I mean, seems simple enough. Yeah, that's simple enough. Same day, Keldic. Well, no kidding, Jesus, that is burnt to the ground. That's completely wrecked. This is awful. You could do this to such a lively town. Grand Market seems to have taken brunt of it too. Distressing to say the least. Can't believe this. Let's have a look around town. Should pay a visit to both the market manager and the 4th Armored Division too. If you visit the church, chapel. Oh wow, a lot of people are injured. Not Louise too. How she's holding up. Has she been given medical treatment? Already tended to her, but the blow to her head was so strong he can't be sure if she'll... Okay. Please open your eyes, I'm begging you. This has gotten pretty dark. Very quickly. Your team seems like good friends from what I've seen. Got to know each other from my visits to the Weathercock whenever I was in town for work. I'm not going to be able to do anything for her by staying here. Let's go and you see how things are elsewhere.
I hope Louise will be okay.
She wasn't the only familiar face either.
They seem to have enough medicine at least, but...
This sucks, man. Jesus. The tone just took a giant nosedive. Please don't tell me. Why, Otto? Come back. Well, from Thors, he fell victim to one of the soldiers' attacks while evacuating the townsfolk. Save him in yet. Never even got a chance to repay him for helping us while we were here. How could this happen? The market manager's always done everything he could to protect this town. Now he's went and gave his life for us. No one loved this town more than Otto. This just goes to prove that. Why did things end up like this? What are we supposed to even do? Yeah, the tone really took a nosedive. Cool baby. Who's next then? So you all arrived. General Craig and Major Nightheart, the RMP. Have you come in? You were all contacted. Came as soon as we heard. Is this the worker who I think it is? It is, as you would suspect, the army's soldiers. For what reason? So it seems they have no issue with raising the very lands they're meant to protect. This can't be real. It's very real. Apparently they broke through a gap in our line of defense at the Twin Dragons Bridge. According to reports that there were a number of Jaegers within their ranks too. Duke Alberea has been hiring northern Jaegers throughout this war. They were behind an attack on Ymir too. Raising towns like this is one of their specialties. And if they had soldiers supporting them too, this couldn't have ended any other way. We arrived and seen as fast as we could, managed to fight them off while evacuating the townsfolk. But we retreated towards Brehard and formed the defensive line by the time the 4th Division arrived. The townsfolk readily accepted us after the provincial army was forced to retreat from Twin Dragons Bridge. Intend to punish them for that as an example to others. That Rufus and Vita said actually.
I beg to differ. The presence of Soldats units on a battlefield makes a tremendous difference. What they may lack in firepower and armor compared to tanks, they make up for in mobility and versatility. But more important than even those factors is the psychological impact they have on our opponents.
Fear is strong.
We're only human. As such, we are as captivated as we are terrified of giant beings bearing human form.
Rufus said that. The fear this attack has instilled in the townsfolk seemed to be a testament to those words. Thanks to the Soldats, it's safe to say they succeeded in their aim. Even we of the RMP felt somewhat powerless before them, especially since we couldn't prevent that fatality. To think the one fatality would be the market manager of all people. Regardless, we plan to strengthen our defenses here while preparing for countermeasures against Brehard. I advise that you keep your distance from Keldic for a while. Do engrave this horrid sight into your minds, however. This is no mere conflict, it's an all-out war. Never forget that. I mean, this is pretty much the first time we've seen the aftermath of such devastating attack. Such a devastating attack.
This is just awful.
You all made it. I've seen a lot of time as my reporter. This is the first time I've been left speechless. An atrocity like this can't be forgiven. Ability or not, there's no excuse for such carnage. We're failures as people if we let something like this pass. And do to make sure it doesn't get covered up. Right, to the highway. Guess we're done here. Jesus, man. Got a decent grasp of the situation. Should we head back? Let's head back. Rean. Another student. Where's my family? They're all safe. You go. We wait on board, didn't we? But she insisted. You expect me to wait, sit about, knowing what's happened to my home? Family's safe, right? What about with the market manager? If family's alright, we saw them at the church. Can't say the same for the market manager, though. Oh no, you're having a laugh, huh? Gotta hit Rean. I'll make sure she returns to Courageous. We'll make our way back first then. We have a lot to discuss. After leaving Celtic in the Imperial Army's hands, they all went back to Courageous. Processing both Otto's death and the state of Celtic proved to be difficult, but they had to face it. It was only after Becky and Hugo had returned that they decided to take off.
Still, this war seems to resemble the War of the Lions more by the minute. History tells us towns were set ablaze all across the country back then as well.
Really? That's said to have been the case. Although the situation back then is very different compared to now. True enough, this war has been relatively bloodless in comparison, so something like this happening is a big deal. Still, in the long term, this is bound to hurt the Alliance's cause more than it will help. That's why I'm finding it so hard to picture that Rufus would give the go-ahead to do it. I think it's safe to say it was just Duke Alberea doing his own thing. He seemed to really hate how Dukeans higher in practice than him in the Alliance.
I'm sorry, but this is where we part ways. Captain, please let me disembark somewhere nearby.
You can't be serious, you're not. Not thinking of trying to settle things with your father alone, are you? Can't believe you even entertained the thought. You need to take a deep breath and calm down before you do something you'll regret. Don't act like you know the first thing about how I'm feeling right now. As a member of the Alberea family, I have a duty to stop my father. You have no right to. We have every right to interfere. This is clearly too much for one person to handle alone. We need to calm down and we need to think this over together. This isn't like you at all. As your classmates and friends, it's not hard to imagine how terrible you must be feeling right now. That is exactly why we want to help you, and I believe we can. We should discuss how to approach this matter together. That's the Class 7 I know. Still, this isn't a matter to be taken lightly. Your actions could have a profound effect on the war from here on out. This time going to get yourself involved, you're going to need to be prepared for the potential consequences. I'm sure you guys know how to deal at this point, right? Fully understand what you're saying. So far we've tried to keep our interference with the war itself to a minimum. However, what just happened in Celtic was an act of terrorism against innocent civilians. Can't turn a blind eye to that. We all agreed here, the market manager did a lot for us, both during a field study and when we were lying low. I'm of the same opinion. He may be head of the 4 great houses, but the Imperial family can still make him answer for his crimes. So please use my position and the ship, however necessary, to bring him to justice. This time we come up with a solid plan. We can't allow Duke Alberea to do anything so inhuman ever again. Is there a call coming through? Where's it coming from? Bear with me a moment. This can't be right. An airship owned by the Noble Alliance. I must have sneaked into range. What should we do, Toa? I think I can shake them off if I try, but they call up on screen.
It's a pleasure to see you all again. Especially you, my dear brother. And Princess Alphen is with you too. Truly, it's an honor, Your Highness.
Rufus? Goodness, are you calling us?
I apologize for calling so abruptly. Rest assured, I have no intention of attacking or otherwise harming you. I'm calling because there is information of which I'd like to make you aware. Due to the rather sensitive nature of my message, this feed is a private communique from my personal airship.
What could you possibly have to tell us? Does this concern Celtic?
It does indeed. I imagine all of you have seen what befell the town yourselves. The attack on Celtic was instigated by Duke Alvarea alone. We of the Noble Alliance do not in any way condone it. If you plan to confront the Duke about his actions, you need fear no interference from us.
Huh? Oh, I get it. You want us to take him out, don't you? Surely not.
The bulk of the Croatian Provincial Army is already under my control. The attack was carried out by a small contingent of soldiers who remain loyal to my father. At present, they've walled themselves up in Aurochs Fort along with him. With the aid of the Imperial Army, you ought to be able to take the fortress without much trouble.
This is insane. They're not as well trained as the ones who are serving you, so you don't mind losing them, do you? I'm impressed at how cold-heartedly objective you can be, Mr. Chief of Staff. But you love it if we end up killing each other, so you have nothing to worry about, huh?
Nothing of the sort, Miss Clausel. Still, there's no denying my father's actions will be a millstone around the neck of the Alliance going forward. But considering the position I hold, I can't very well publicly oppose him. And that's why I figured I might bring up the matter with all of you. Well, I've said my part. Oh, and Eustace, this is an intensely family-centric affair, as I'm sure you realize. I'm very curious how you'll approach it. Well then, if you'll excuse me, I suppose I'll hope and pray for your success this once, as a sitting member of Thors' Board of Directors.
Nothing like using other people to do your dirty work. There remains a possibility that this is a trap. Still, now we know the Alliance wants something done about Duke Alvarea as much as we do. This could be the best chance we ever are going to have to stopping him from wreaking more havoc.
I can't allow my father to commit any more of these unforgivable crimes. I will go to Aurochs Fort and apprehend Duke Alvarea myself. And it would mean the world to me if all of you were to lend me your aid.
Do you even need to ask? Of course we will. We'll be with you every step of the way. With that, they finally began preparations to apprehend Duke Alvarea. Duke Alvarea's actions against Celtic were believed to be a violation of a number of imperial laws. With that fact as justification, Class VII chose to call upon the aid of the 4th Armored Division, an RMP, to formally place him under arrest. In the end, they settled upon the following plan. First, the 4th Armored Division would attack Berehard's northern line of defense. Meanwhile, the RMP would attack the southern line, forcing them to call for reinforcements. This would give Class VII the opportunity to attack the fortress using the courageous via relatively limited opposition. Once the fortress was under their control, they would arrest Duke Alvarea, effectively completing the mission. Seems simple enough, right? The blade looks a bit nicer. With all this being finalized and remaining touches were put to Valamar's reinforced sword, the operation proved to be an opportune time to test it and collect much needed data. The next day, the time for the operation to begin.